Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
What's on Tap podcast? Back again. Excited for a Belgian doubleheader.
A Belgian doubleheader. I like that.
I like that too. I'm a huge fan of Belgian beers. And when people think Belgians, I think their first thought is doubles and triples and Carmelites and...
Yeah, like it's Chimay.
Yeah. Monkish Westverlaten or something like that. But we are not going into that range. We're going into the other side.
The sour side.
Of the Belgian world, which is also... It's not as old as the monkish traditions go back. But
come on.
Are they not? I mean, I don't know.
I would say that sour beers in this, especially in this type of, when we talk about lambics, where we let spontaneous yeast come in, I think that predates any other beer style.
I guess technically it would, because almost all beers were spontaneously fermented.
You didn't know about yeast.
The magics of God's
you had the
powers.
magic. You had the magic stick.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
The shaman or the druid he used in the previous batch of beer.
Yeah,
and if you didn't stir with that stick, no magic drink for you.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think it predates.
Okay, well, I guess theoretically it predates, but brewery standards and brewery creation, the monkish tradition, Trappist traditions, exist longer than...
I concede that point, but I believe it to be the reason is because of the longevity of monks and monasteries, not of the beer styles themselves.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I understand the difference in the and where you're coming from, but I'm also saying that brewery-wise, your classics of Cantillon, Tilquin...
Yeah, they're not that old.
3Fonteinen. And then 3Fonteinen might be the oldest of them. I can't remember which ones. Like Cantillon is actually not that old.
It's still generations of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I brought a 3Fonteinen.
You did bring a 3Fonteinen.
Because they are my favorite lambic brewers.
I am right there with you. They are my favorite lambic brewers as well.
Cantillon are more hyped.
By far.
But 3Fonteinen makes consistently the best beers.
Right. And 3Fonteinen is actually more widely available than Cantillon. So it's pretty easy to get overall. But the quality and the standards are so high that it's like always a pleasure to try one. And so we're very excited about today's selection. So what did you bring us?
I brought a 3Fonteinen Cuvee Armand and Gaston season 1718 blend. Let me check. Blend 26.
Okay, so this would have been early in the blend.
Probably yes.
Because I think they're up to.
They hit the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, 70s, 80s. I wanted to say, yeah.
And then they go into the next season and it's one again. So this beer is available at Systembolaget, but maybe not this particular blend. Because Systembolaget, they just keep changing, they just keep ordering the same Armand de Gaston and just replacing them on the shelves.
Yeah. Which is fine, because that just means we get more and more blends and more different types to try.
Yes, exactly.
And so you can really taste a year out. And you'd be surprised, actually, how much these can vary sometimes.
Oh yeah,
from blend to blend, based on how they were blended and maybe the vintages of the gueuze that they were blending together, or lambics, right?
Yeah.
Lambics create the gueuze.
Gueuze yes.
Yeah.
A gueuze, or in Flemish, gueuze, is always a 1-year-old lambic, 2-year lambic, and a 3-year-old lambic, blended together by a master blender.
Right. And the master blender, as he gets more stock available to him,
he can go crazy.
Yeah, they can vary wildly mix based on how they're mixed and how they've aged out and progressed over the years. So if you can get your hands on a bottle of this, I think you're always going to be very, very pleased.
Yes. And before I even smell this, I'm going to say that there is a particular aroma that I'm always kind of looking for. It's very prevalent in Cantillon's gueuze, and it's gunpowder. The aroma of gunpowder is often found in Cantillon gueuzes, but they are not as fruity and fresh in the aroma. They're much more murky and dusty.
Yeah.
So whenever I find gunpowder in a 3Fonteinen, it's usually the perfect combination because it has all the fruitiness and all a small gunpowder aroma. I don't think we will find it in this one, but I'm always on the lookout.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I smell a gueuze, I always get this kind of like cheesy kind of smell to it.
Like old moldy cheese.
Yeah, kind of. And the stronger the smell, I think the better it usually is. And this one smells really kind of light and pleasant. I mean, it's a really
very fresh, very fruity.
Yeah, and the color is, I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful strawish color. I absolutely love it. I
would say it doesn't have the gunpowder.
No, there's no gunpowder here. And when gunpowder, do you mean like slightly sulfury?
I mean,
how are you defining gunpowder?
New Year's Eve, standing in the middle of
fireworks. So like 4th of July or New Year's Eve kind of fireworks explosion.
Yes.
After smell kind of thing. Yeah. So there's a slightly sulfury, gunpowdery smell to it. All right. I gotcha. All right. Well, cheers.
This smells good. Cheers.
I have high hopes for this. Yeah.
That's funky. It has a lot of hay and barnyard flavors.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it in English. It pulls on the side of your tongue.
You get that slight sour tension in the back of your
tension
in the back of your jaws. I don't find it. I didn't really get much of that.
You don't?
No. For me, it wasn't like that. The tartness you get sometimes when you just kind of like. Urgh.
Okay, I don't mean the. I mean a slight pulling. It's much more. It's more towards saison than towards a vinegar sour beer.
Yeah, I would say this is much more in the saison kind of region. So I don't get that bit of the sourness in the back of the throat. It's just kind of floral, very lightly effervescent. You get that saison-y kind of nature to it, which is not really the peppery saison.
No,
but it's the
barnyard.
The barnyard saison, which I think sometimes puts a lot of people off of saisons because of the barnyard style can be a little.
That's the best type of.
It is the best type. I agree, but I also think it's the hardest to acclimate to.
Okay, maybe.
So I also think that gueuze is kind of an odd style for people that aren't used to it. But once you develop the taste and understanding of it, it really becomes like the king of beers.
Yes.
It is like the gold standard by which most people like put beers on a pedestal.
This is my favorite style of beer.
It's one of my favorite styles of beer. I am a huge fan. I can't say all lambics or gueuze are my favorite, but and certainly not all breweries. I think some are way overhyped. But 3Fonteinen has always just been such a stellar producer, and they've just gotten better and better. It seems like as the world has caught on to like how good this style can be, they've just been like, oh, you think that's good? Hold on, we're about to do something crazy here. And they've come out with whole new lines and whole new styles, and each one of them has just been absolutely knocking out of the park killer.
So lately, like in the last year, there's been the talk of gueuze fanatics is, oh my God, Armand de Belder, like the Armand in Armand and Gaston. Armand de Belder is going to retire. Oh my God, what's going to happen to 3Fonteinen? And the response was, guys, even though I haven't retired fully yet, most of the beers you've been having have been from my protege that I've been super mentoring.
Yeah.
Don't worry, if you liked us this last year, you have nothing to fear for the future.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't actually blended a beer in like a couple of years, so you're going to be fine.
I've only been like poking at the process. don't worry. And that really put a lot of the worry out of...
Well, because whenever you have like a legend in the field and they retire, you're kind of like, oh, they're going to take years to rebuild and like find their voice again.
Yeah.
And I really feel like they've found their voice like in the past couple of years. They've really just upped their game and just killing it all the time.
Yeah. So to any listener, I recommend just buy as much of 3Fonteinen as you can from the Systembolaget shelves.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we are getting such huge quantities of both the regular Oud gueuze and the Armand Gaston is because 3Fonteinen really like Sweden. One of the reasons is we've always really liked lambics. But another reason is a number of years ago, 3Fonteinen had a temperature gauge break, meaning that everything in the brewery became too hot.
Yeah.
And every beer was spoiled.
Oh.
They lost everything. So what they did was they distilled that beer into liquor and sold it in bottles.
I remember that.
Sweden bought something like 70 to 90% of that entire liquor.
Yeah, I remember that. That was such a big deal.
Yes.
That was just as I was getting into to craft beers and stuff, and like you would see people like the bottle would just pop up randomly in different places. Yeah.
Square bottles.
Yeah.
So in at least one interview, representatives of 3Fonteinen said, well, Sweden kind of saved us. They bought so much of that it's hard to sell liquor.
Thing that nobody wanted.
And that allowed them to restart. And they've been pumping out good stuff ever since.
Yeah. And since then, I mean, this year we've had an amazing, like a wealth of blessings from them, from the Golden Blend to the Intense Red to Homage.
Several vintages of the Homage.
Different versions of Homage. So it's been like just a crazy amount of stuff we've gotten in from them this year.
It's never been... being a 3Fonteinen fan is really good right now.
Yeah, it is excellent. And the prices have been extraordinary. It's just crazy. So like the stuff that we're getting here is sometimes a third the cost of what it is in Denmark to like half the cost of what it is in Denmark.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like you can go right now and get a big bottle of the gueuze off of the shelf, 750 milliliters, and it's $119.
Yeah.
And in Denmark, it's going to cost you like $256.
That's just because the as we're recording this, the blend available at Systembolaget, the regular Oud gueuze, is a special blend. It's aged on special barrels with special honey. It's a very unique blend, and that one costs a premium in other places. But Systembolaget just keeps selling it for the same price, and we keep buying it.
Yeah, we do. So if you want to stock up on some good stuff, and then if you're into beer trading or selling in the secondary market, you're going to do a real good trade.
Don't sell beer.
Don't sell beer.
Don't sell beer. It's one of my pet peeves.
Well, I mean trade. I would say trade.
I highly enjoy trading of beer.
Yeah, trading beers, not selling, but trading.
Selling it lacks the soul.
Yeah, that's actually what I meant. Yeah. I don't always differentiate between the two.
I've done a lot of trading, but no selling of beer.
All right, so what do we give this? What do you...
4.5.
I am right there with you, 4.5. It's excellent.
Some of these blends hit the 4.75, and a rare few hit the 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
But then it has to be like the perfect combination of flavors.
Yeah. It also has to be, I mean, there's a lot of other things that factor in. That could be the atmosphere that you're taking it in.
Yes.
It could be actually literally the atmosphere and the air and the humidity around you.
Sure.
I mean, those things are like all like on a hot day and it's really cold and it's feeling really refreshing, then it kind of enhances the mood. And, so the things like it's just an excellent beer all the way around. So you're never going to go wrong getting this. Actually,
the Armand Gastons are usually more towards this funky, saison-y barnyard flavor, whereas the Oud gueuzes are usually more tart, more fruity.
Yeah, they are much more tart.
So you need to know what you're getting into.
All right. So speaking of knowing what you're getting into, there is what's it called? Duchesse
de Bourgogne.
Yeah, Duchesse de Bourgogne, which I've never been able to say apparently. They have always released a Flemish red.
Oh, but the Duchesse de Bourgogne is the name of the beer.
Yeah.
The brewery is Brouwerij Verhaeghe.
Of course it is.
Verhaeghe.
Well, and they've always been known for this Flemish red.
Yes, it's a true staple, a classic.
Yeah, it is kind of like the Flemish red that other Flemish reds are kind of judged by in many ways. And sometimes it can be, it goes, for me, on a scale of nail varnish to paint thinner.
Oh, yeah.
And these are not bad things in my vocabulary. No. These are actually really good things when it comes to style of beer. When it gets into the super nail varnishy style, it's like, oh, that's a little too much. So I like it a little closer to the paint thinner, turpentine-y kind of essence. But they've come out with two, I'm calling new styles. Maybe they've done them before. First time I've ever seen them do this. So I was very excited to try this. But they've done a cherry version of their classic style. It comes in at 6.8%. So I think the ABV is actually a little higher on this than their normal beer.
I think so.
And it's just aged in oak casks with natural flavor added cherries.
Nice. So, the two variants they've made is cherry and chocolate.
Correct.
And you've bought chocolate. No, just cherry. Cherry.
And what happened was I was on ep227, which is a French.
Belgian.
Is it Belgian?
Yes.
For some reason I thought they were out of France. But okay. So they're a Belgian, beer shop, and they usually have a lot of 3F and Cantillon and Decam and those styles, and that as well as traditional Belgian styles. So I'm not on there as much as normal, but I was on there and I saw this and I was like, well, I've got to try this because I'm very excited about trying other styles from breweries that are just known for making one particular beer. So let's dig into this. The color is when you get it in the light is just a real cherry red kind of.
It's super
kind of
beautiful.
Color.
Super beautiful.
And the smell is
sweet cherries.
Sweet cherries with that classic Duchess kind of nail varnishy smell to it.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting this to be a slightly sweeter version of their regular Flemish red.
Me too.
All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
You definitely get the cherry.
Yep.
You don't get the spiciness and the aftertaste like you get with some cherry sometimes where they use like the pits.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of cinnamony.
I usually enjoy the pit.
Yeah.
Cherry pit flavor. I feel like this one has, I want to say, lost a lot of its original Duchesse de Bourgogne paint thinner flavor.
It has. It's not as aggressive as the regular version normally is.
This is a much easier beer to take on.
Super, super easy to drink. What I like about it is the cherry flavor in the end. To me, tastes like I'm eating cherries.
Yeah.
It's not an artificial...
Actual cherries, yeah.
Yeah. It's not an artificial cherry flavor. It tastes like I just ate a handful of cherries.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. It's very much a ripe, fresh fruit flavor. Wow.
This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at how... Because I thought this was actually going to be kind of a sugar bomb. I'll be honest with you. I was a little apprehensive about this. I wanted to try it, but I was like...
It's very sweet.
This could be... But it's not like Samuel Smith's...
No.
They just dumped a cup of sugar into this beer, sweet. Or sweet like some other... Like, it's sweet, but it doesn't taste sugar sweet.
No, fair enough. It's fruity sweet.
Yeah, it's fruity sweet. Especially by comparison to their regular version.
Yeah. I think I'm ready to set a rating for this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a ton you can say about this beer. It's not overly complex. It's pretty much what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
kind of beer.
With the 3Fonteinen, you can keep sniffing and tasting and try to find certain nuances.
Yeah.
This one's pretty much just fresh cherries straight in your face. It doesn't taste artificial. It's very pure. And that's nice. I enjoy that.
I can't say I've had that in a cherry flavored beer or cherry cherry flavored beer in a long time. Because normally you get like the spiciness from the pits, or you get kind of like this cherry flavor that just feels like they just dumped a lot of cherry flavoring into it, which is just horrible. So what would you give this?
A strong 4.
Really? I think that's an excellent call. I'm going to give it a 3.75, but it's a really strong 3.75. And only because I just want that classic. I want a little bit more complexity to it. And I feel that if they had a little bit more of that kind of nail varnish, like depth to it, those vinegary notes that I love from the classic, I think it would have been a much higher rated beer.
Totally agree.
Yep. All right. So you can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and
wherever
Instagram.
You find good quality podcasts.
Is this like Instagram?
Do you find a lot of podcasts on Instagram?
You can.
You find the pictures there.
Well, that too.
Ah, come on.
All right. So
until next time.
Keep drinking, you dumb.